Dogs, mankind's oldest ally, carpet destroyer, pizza thief, and ancient warrior. In ancient Rome, dogs weren't just companions. They were soldiers, workers, status symbols, and spiritual figures, woven into the fabric of daily life in ways that might surprise you. Today, we're digging into the roles Roman dogs played on the battlefield, in the home, in the fields, and even in the afterlife. This is Dogs of the Empire, how Romans used man's best friend. Number 1. War dogs of the Roman military. The Roman army is famous for its discipline and innovation, and that extended all the way to its dogs. The most prized were Molossian hounds, massive and muscular war dogs from Epirus, in modern-day Albania and Greece. The Roman writer Gratius, in his poetic treatise Kynegetica, praised them, saying, "What delight is greater than to have a faithful dog, fearless and terrible to the foe?" That wasn't sentiment, it was strategy. These dogs were armor-clad, trained to charge, tackle, and maul. They weren't just mascots, they were weapons. The Romans inherited this tactic from earlier armies, like the Gauls and Greeks. In battle, these dogs were unleashed against enemy formations to create panic and disorder. They were sometimes equipped with spiked collars, and there are accounts suggesting leather armor may have been used to protect them. After the invasion of Britain, the Romans were so impressed by the local dogs that they began importing them back to the mainland. The historian Strabo even wrote that British dogs were used in war more than any other dog of its size. These weren't just bruisers, they were carefully bred and handled like cavalry assets. They represent one of the earliest instances of organized canine military use in Western warfare. Number 2. Guardians of Roman homes, cave canem. Walk into a wealthy Roman domus, and you might be greeted by a snarling mosaic on the floor. A dog frozen mid-lunge with the words cave canem, beware of dog. It wasn't just for style. Dogs were essential home security in Roman households. According to the Roman agriculturalist Varro, every household ought to have a dog. It is the guardian of the farmstead. And indeed, many homes, urban and rural, relied on dogs to guard valuables, livestock, and even family members. Guard dogs were trained to bark at strangers, chase intruders, and patrol courtyards. Their breeds varied, but most were medium to large, agile, and responsive. Owners were expected to feed them well and train them firmly. Some villas even had kennel spaces, and Roman manuals on farming recommend placing dogs near entryways at night to discourage thieves. Their reputation was so fierce that the cave canem warning became a kind of status symbol. My house is important enough to guard. One could argue these early warning systems were more reliable than modern motion detectors, though maybe less fond of Amazon delivery men. Number 3. Pets, lapdogs, and status symbols. Despite all this utility, Romans also loved their dogs as pets, sometimes lavishly. Lapdogs were the favored companions of the elite, especially Roman women, and often received more attention than some human family members. Pliny the Elder, in Natural History, comments on their popularity. "There is no animal more intelligent than the dog, none more loving to man." That affection wasn't just sentimental, it translated into real pampering. These dogs were perfumed, dressed in ribbons, fed special food, and occasionally carried in the folds of togas or in hand baskets. Roman lapdogs likely descended from small Mediterranean breeds, like the Canis melitaeus, early ancestors of the Maltese. When these dogs died, their owners wrote epitaphs, and some were buried in tombs with engraved likenesses. One gravestone in Rome reads, "To Helena, my pet, who never barked without reason, who loved me more than life itself." That's more emotional depth than half the Roman emperors got. Owning a well-groomed lapdog was also a social flex. It implied leisure, luxury, and refinement. Number 4. Dogs as workers and hunters. Beyond pets and guards, Roman dogs were everyday laborers. In the countryside, dogs worked on farms and in the forests. Their jobs? Herding sheep, pulling carts, hunting boar, and guarding livestock from predators. The Roman poet Oppian, Kynergetica, 2nd century CE, writes, "Choose a dog with fine shoulders and chest, swift feet and mighty voice, one that is tireless in the chase and loyal in the camp." These were not idle animals. They were bred and trained for purposeful utility. Different dogs for different jobs. Sighthounds for speed and visual tracking. Scent hounds for persistence in forests. Herding dogs, trained with hand signals and whistles. Some even pulled small carts, used to carry wood, produce, or water in towns and rural areas. Children in rural families reportedly harnessed their dogs to toy chariots in play. So yes, Roman dog carts were a thing. It's no exaggeration to say that in Roman agriculture, dogs were as vital as donkeys or goats. If you had land, you probably had a dog, and if you didn't, you were doing it wrong. Number 5. Dogs in religion, ritual, and myth. Lastly, Roman dogs had a deep symbolic life. They weren't just animals, they were part of the sacred, the mythic, and the mysterious. In mythology, dogs appear everywhere, from Romulus and Remus's wolf-like guardian to Cerberus, the underworld's three-headed gatekeeper. Dogs were also used in ritual. During the Lupercalia festival, a dog was one of the animals sacrificed for purification rites, symbolizing protection and ferocity. In the Fasti of Ovid, he writes, "The dog is sacrificed to quiet the evil spirits, for its bark is what they fear." Dogs were believed to guard both the physical and spiritual thresholds. In some Roman homes, dogs were buried beneath the foundation, a superstitious practice to ward off evil or invite loyalty and protection. In funerary art, dogs often accompany the deceased, symbolizing fidelity, loyalty, and protection in the afterlife. Some scholars even suggest that dogs helped act as guides to the underworld, guarding the soul's passage. For the Romans, dogs weren't just alive, they were eternal. From fierce warhounds to lap-sitting fashion accessories, Roman dogs were far more than pets. They were warriors, guards, workers, companions, and spiritual symbols. Rome may have been built on the backs of soldiers, slaves, and senators, but its foundation was also guarded by growls, barks, and loyal paws. So next time your dog stares into the void or barks at a falling leaf, just remember, he might be channeling 2,000 years of ancient service, or he just wants more food. Either way, he's part of a legacy that stretches back to the empire. If you enjoyed this historical deep dive, give us a like, share it with your favorite dog owner, and subscribe for more stories that history textbooks forgot. Until next time, stay curious and be kind to your dog.